pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. Roll call, please, Pam.
Mayor Grimminger.
Here.
Alderwoman Zerwig. Here. Alderman Skaggs.
Here.
Alderman Stupi.
Here.
Alderman Jokers.
Here.
Alderman Steiger. Alderman Okenthus.
Here.
Alderman Ross.
Here.
Alderwoman Broomfield. Here. Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Approval of the agenda.
Move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I believe Eric has asked, we have a new officer that he'd like to introduce to everybody, so we'll do that right now.
Good evening. How are you guys? As I mentioned in the last meeting, we have Officer McClure, Ryan McClure. He is here this evening. I meant to have him at the last meeting, and he slipped away. I forgot to have him stay, so step on up. He's actually got some local ties. He's married to our emergency management director, Felix Meyer's daughter, Renee. So she's familiar with the area. He's familiar with the area. He's doing a great job. Very near completing his FTO already. He's been a law enforcement officer for 9-10 years in St. Francis County, has road experience, and he's doing a great job. So I just wanted to let you guys meet him. If you had any questions for him, I'm sure he'd be happy to answer them.
Great.
So we know his father-in-law.
Yes, yes. And much like my last hire, if you have any issues, I'm sure you can go to Felix. So, thank you guys.
Great. Thanks. Okay, Martin, you're up.
Okay, the first item is in error. I haven't submitted the agreements to Don Kreitz on my report because you didn't, it's on for tonight for second reading, so I was kind of jumping the gun. But I will tomorrow as soon as the mayor signs it. We're ready to go. Met with the county today on the kind of wayfinding signs that we're proposing to put up. We were originally going to put it in one of the mini park garden things, but we decided against that because it would be difficult for the person who's maintaining that to maintain it, put shadows on the flowers, and so we wanted to move it down to the other corner at Market and Third, kind of in front of the courthouse. So I had proposed this before to the county commissioners, and I met with them today, and they unanimously supported it, and we'll be putting it there. I haven't implemented it yet, but it's my intention to go with Big River Communications on system. I was reluctant on the internet because it was explained to me that there were some technical security problems with it, but when I checked that out, it proved that that would only be true for home service. You know, lots of the county has it, the hospital has it, the school has it, and they consider their systems secure. The guy has been maintaining our website. Resigned. I think I reported that to you at earlier meetings. And it's kind of a committee of people with the chamber and Stephanie and I, and going to meet to discuss kind of the web design and how we use it. So we had Diane Wilson's husband, Wayne, and who advised us on. He works for the newspaper in the IT department, and he gave us some good advice on how to structure our request. And we had a couple of meetings, and so I have written the request for proposals for to change our website to something called a content management system. It gives a lot more control to us locally to change the content, not the design, so we don't have to call up somebody in some remote place to do it, and then to maintain it. So because we're able to go to this new system and reduce the amount of time that it requires for the website manager to work with our particular site, we expect to realize some savings on what we pay for website maintenance. And so that advertisement has been distributed to the committee, and I'm waiting to hear back from them to see if it reflects what we discussed. It's very difficult for me to write because it's using terms that mean absolutely nothing to me. It's writing Greek. Can you read my Greek? I reported to you that we put the dye in the sinkhole to try and figure out where the water goes. Dave's here. They were assigned with the task of going around and seeing if evidence showed up anywhere in the rivers or creeks, and he's shaking his head because no evidence did. Now, I don't know what else to do, but we're going to try and send that off to the Corps, along with a hydraulic study that Mississippi Lime says they have, and they'll get to me as soon as they find it, and tell them that all evidence indicates that that water does not enter the jurisdictional waterways for the Corps of Engineers. The gas company finally showed up on Market Street, so they're lowering the lines, and as soon as they get their work done, the contractor will be able to proceed with finishing up the storm drain just in time for the Safe Streets project to take off. Because of the timeline on Progress Park trail, I had to send out requests for engineering kind of before I knew whether or not what we were going to be doing there relative to the church and certainly to the Corps of Engineers. But we met with the finance committee of the parish last night. I said parish council for lack of a better term, and it was a very positive meeting. I mean, there were a lot of questions, but there weren't any real negativity. They're currently reviewing what we took to them, and Alderman Ross says it's more reviewing it for the sake of telling us how they'd like to see it configured rather than reviewing it for whether they want to cooperate. So I think we're making great strides in that direction. Did I report that correctly?
Yes, you did.
Thank you.
They're fully behind it, and they just like to take a look at it and see what fits the best.
Great, that's great.
At the park board meeting, I was talking about the signage for the visitors. They came up with the idea and commented that people who get off the ferry and come into town don't really have any signage. I mean, and so they've asked if we could kind of put up something facing that direction. It tells them how far it is to the visitor center would be the most likely thing, so they would be directed there. So I think we have sufficient funds in the budget for that from the grant. But I needed to rebid the sign work, so I sent a letter to each of the 4 companies that had bid it before, for 2 reasons. One, more than 30 days had elapsed, so they can't really be held to their prices. And 2, the state had required us to use a taller U-channel than we had originally intended. They need 7 foot of clearance, so we're going to need a 11-foot pole above ground. But that'll drive the price up, obviously, a little bit on the signs that are in the state right of way. But I still think we're okay relative to the budget. And then other than that, there wasn't any real news that came out of the meetings at the Solid Waste Board. Well, there is news. I'm sorry. There's a bill before the state legislature to eliminate the regional solid waste districts that we have now. I mean, ours is the counties under the SEMO regional planning jurisdiction, and divide the state up into 4 large districts. They think this impetus comes from the waste haulers who are going to try and get the fewer people they have to deal with, the easier it is for them to create uniformity in their systems. And since the trend has been consolidation in this industry at just a remarkable rate, when I sent out those notices 2 years ago, I had like 6 companies to contact, and now there are only 2. The solid waste district really doesn't think that's a good idea because the funds that came to the local district were used for things like the household hazardous waste event that we had here at the recycling center. Wholesome was the sponsor, but there was money that was available for that kind of thing. There are communities, that get grants for equipment, and the determination of where that money can best go is made more locally than if you have this, central or eastern St. Louis district, and that's what they're talking about. They're talking about Kansas City, St. Louis, Springfield. It's just not. We don't think our interests are going to be well represented should that happen. So I'll send you an email giving you the bill number, and if you're so inclined, you can write your state representatives, senator. That's it.
Question? All right. I guess the other thing was, are you thinking about after the park board meeting of including that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
The sign on the pole?
There was discussion at the park board meeting about the flood level sign is deteriorating, and everyone, the gauge, and everyone, I mean, it's like a tourist attraction. I know I take people there whenever they come into town, and so there was talk about ways that we could get that sign repaired or replaced. The mayor suggested there might be room in this grant that we received for signage, and I'll know that when I get the bids back from the companies that are bidding it, but
Okay.
I suspect there will be.
You put it in there? You
What?
put that sign in there?
No.
Or you didn't put that sign?
But-
Oh, okay, to have room, gotcha.
But I'm hoping that the sign bids I get, you're just kind of assuming what it's going to cost, and I'm hoping the sign bids I get will be
Yeah.
lower than I had projected for the 16 that we submitted.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great, all right. Okay, anything? All right, go on to staff reports. Stephanie, you're first.
Thank you. I have a lot of information for you with this report. This shows all of the information funding received through December of 2012. First part is the state co-op on the grant. The project summary report was submitted and accepted by the state on December 1st. I've already started advertising the fourth quarter of the fiscal year 13, so I'm already at the end of that. Today, I mailed out the fiscal year 14 co-op grant request, as well as a $10,000 for tourism research. We'll be receiving our second quarter reimbursement. Going through the packet shows visitors and passports. For the calendar year, we were down less than 0.5% from fiscal year, our calendar year 12 to 11. Basically, it's the same. Our group visitors were down considerably. Mostly this was due to schools. A lot of the school districts have cut back, and they are not sending their kids on bus trips. And we rely so much on the fourth graders. I just found out they don't have to go anywhere. They can do all of their classroom learning inside, so they don't actually have to go on a tour of something historical. And that explains why, or at least one reason why we've seen that decrease. And with those student groups, we generally have 50 adults that will show up. Because generally we have 150 to 200 kids that come in with these groups. So that affected both our passport sales for children and for adults. Let's see here, the annual sales tax information provided by the Missouri Department of Revenue Public Information Reports for the months of July to September were released on December 1st, so this gives us an opportunity to see what tourism-related sales tax codes, how they fared over previous year, and we were up 4% from fiscal year 11, which is good. The state always tries to go for a goal of 3%, so we managed to get 1% over. And those that SIC codes that we have, that is mainly lodging and restaurants, eating, drinking, and dining. We don't have any botanical gardens or zoos or any other type of attractions that you would normally see. The majority of the tourism-related revenue comes to us via the eating and drinking establishments. The lodging represents a very slight percentage of the overall increase. And then for calendar year 12, the tourism tax revenue increased 4.9% over calendar year 2011. So those are good numbers as well. As far as the website, web report, we're continuing to trend with increase over 2011. There is a slight decrease when you look at month to month, but that mainly is due to we have cut back on the advertising during the wintertime. People typically do not travel for fun during the holidays and shopping season and tax season. Anybody have any questions? Yes.
I had a few people ask me to live out of the county. Are you ever gonna put souvenirs back in down there like it used to be?
At the Welcome Center?
Yeah.
I know Andy, my predecessor, had them taken out. And I agree with his philosophy that I would much prefer the souvenirs come from the local businesses that generate tax revenue as opposed to my building, which generates zero tax revenue. And it's also good for their business.
Are there retailers selling comparable inventory?
Yes.
Well, I guess are they open when they come around?
Most of them are, yes. Show Me Shop is open 7 days a week. I know Melange is usually open. The Bolduc House, they have really expanded upon their gift shop area. I know Bev at O'Deal's is open 7 days a week. So there are places in town that sell the nice items and souvenir type.
Anything else for Stephanie? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Dave?
Good evening. As you see on my report, we've basically been doing some sign repair and patching and working on a lot of snow equipment and plowing some snow.
I was asked why Progress Parkway's been closed, Progress Park Drive has been closed several times in the last 30, 45 days. Is that something we've been doing?
Well, they had some kind of races going on out there, but we actually closed it down during this last storm because of the ice, and we needed to get to the hills and everything, so we went ahead and closed that down till the next day so we could get there. 'Cause that takes a lot of time to do that stretch of road. It was where actually I had 2 trucks go down that night. It snowed, so.
Any questions for Dave?
You got everything fixed that broke down during that time?
I still got 1 truck being fixed now, so.
What's wrong with it?
It's that little spreader. The clutch goes out all the time, and I'm not gonna get another one of them. The next time we get one, I'm gonna request that we get one with hydraulics, because them gas engines just eat us up. They're just, I mean, you're gonna pay a lot more for a hydraulic one, but it'll last a lot longer. I mean, we're constantly working on this. It's just, money pit.
Dave, did you say, you tell me you had one spreader that finally wore a hole. It's old? It's
Yeah,
old?
there's, you know, their life expectancy is about like 7 years, and this is 18 years old, and we go to wash them out, and we're blowing holes in the side, and it's, you know, salt just takes toll on them. They're shot, you know.
That's the ones in the big truck?
Yeah, the big trucks.
How much are those?
They're about 15,000 apiece. And also, we've been, the bad days, we've been building a wall inside the shop to kind of cover up them windows a little bit. We left a 3-foot space there for storage, and today we pretty well finished it up. It's, I put a thermometer in there. It was the same temperature in there as it was outside. So that's where we're trying to get a little bit of energy efficient. So, and that's why I'm going to ask the board, if it doesn't snow anymore, I'm going to have a little left over in the chemical budget. I'd like you to consider to let me put a new furnace and air conditioner in there to get rid of that antiquated one that's on the roof. Get a more energy efficient one, that way our gas bills will go down.
Do you heat that whole building, the garage and everything?
Yeah. Yeah, we have to keep the diesels warm, you know, not they won't start.
Well, you guys are out there working a lot too.
Yeah. We keep it around 40 degrees
Yeah,
in
I
there.
was gonna say, you probably gotta keep it a very warm
Yeah.
temperature, just enough to keep things.
And that radiant heat we have, it's wonderful. I mean, most of the time we're in there in short sleeve shirts, so, even at 40 degrees.
Where do you haul the snow from the Island of Flags to?
Yeah.
Down on the end of Washington Street.
I saw, I think it was a county truck in there plowing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, sometimes they do and sometimes they don't, so. Yeah, I was afraid that it was gonna melt, and then as it melted and refroze, then we'd have a ice rink down there, so that's the reason why we haul it away.
On these spreaders,
Mhm.
you say you need 2 of them. Are we gonna make it through this season?
I will
Is
make,
that something to look at for?
yeah, for next budget, yeah, yeah. Oh, we'll make it through this season. That I hope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're all kind of hoping it's gone.
Yeah.
Season's behind us.
Which it was flaring pretty good when I walked in a while ago.
You only got another week or 2 to go.
I hope so, John, I'm gonna hold you to that.
Mr. Weatherman. That's what it's like.
Yeah, we don't need no more snow. I don't know if I can take any more chewings. Oh, Mayor.
Yeah, right.
On your pothole alert, I'm sure you've got a list started already, because they'll be popping up everywhere.
Actually, today, the crew was out patching holes, so.
Okay, I don't know, I didn't look today, but there's a pretty good one that popped up there on Audubon, in the turn coming off from the top end of the limb.
Okay.
It's pretty much in the turn, but pretty good size one right now.
Yeah, this time of year, they start popping.
I know every snow event causes
Yeah.
some problems
Oh,
for
yeah.
some people, but I think the crew does a remarkable job in the city.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
This was a rough snow to push, that last one.
Oh,
Yes, it was.
There's just a lot, it just kept coming and coming.
And and I hate to block driveways and push it on the side of the road, but I don't have no place else to go with it. you know.
what are we supposed to do with it?
Well, and people who park in the street too, it's hard to, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Dave.
Thanks.
Good evening.
You got mixed report there. Still notice for everybody's information, we still have 3 positions open on the fire department. All right. Move on to Eric's report. You have in front of you.
Officer Pollock doing better? Is he getting better?
He's better than he was. He's at a rehab facility now with physical therapy. facility working on building some of these things back up. Okay, yeah, the date has been set for the next formal benefit for Sergeant Pollock. It'll be at the KC Hall on April 13th, I believe. Be a barbecue, car show, there'll be some music provided. I think there's a silent auction. I know there will be a boot drive that the KC is also doing in March. So we had a lot of prayers and thoughts and concerns going out for him, and we appreciate all of those, and just trying to figure out what his next step is going to be and how we can help. So, on my report, I apologize for the delay on that. It's been kind of a crazy week, but as I guess you guys have seen, we had just completed our mules audit, or I'm sorry, not mules audit, our UCR audit. UCR is the Uniform Crime Reporting that we have to report to the FBI monthly. On our crime stats, there's certain offenses that are reportable offenses. The auditor came down yesterday, and we did very, very well, scored 100% compliance rate on both fields that they're looking for, which she indicated was pretty rare. She seemed pretty excited about that. So, Lisa and myself typically do that, and so she was pleased with that. I also provided the 911 calls for service information for all the agencies that St. Francis County dispatches for, which I thought would be interesting reading if you guys had an opportunity. And then, as I noted in my report, we're actually 5th overall as far as the busiest agency that they dispatch for by calls of service count. The 3rd busiest municipality, so 2 of the 5 are county agencies that typically are going to be the busiest in the county. And then, like I said, of the municipalities, there was Park Hills and Bonne Terre that were busier than us as far as calls for service, and that included their mules and NCIC access, which we actually have eliminated significantly with our MDT. So if you had factored those in, if we were still running everybody that we have run, I'm sure we probably would have even exceeded at least Bonne Terre. I don't know that we'd have come close to Park Hills, but just a good indication of where we're at in comparison to every other agency around. So I think the guys are all doing a really good job, and so far my complaints are still at a minimum, knock on wood. So hopefully you guys are experiencing the same.
So in your time here, you've not gotten 100% before?
I got 100% on the data compliance last time. They do a little questionnaire afterwards, like if your agency assists another agency and both officers are injured, who reports the crime, things like that. I missed one question on that last time, so I got a 97% on the questionnaire last time. But as far as the data compliance, that's of the 2 audits that I've done, both of them have been 100% data compliant.
Questions?
Okay.
Thank you. Good work. Thank you. Steve.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Board. Water Department staff had a number of main breaks in January. Kept staff pretty busy. In fact, I think there was 5 total main breaks through the town in January. Plus the water line project here on Market Street added to quite a busy month. Martin, to add on your gas line project, they did get the line lowered today. Yeah, and they're completed with that part of it, and they still have 9 services to move yet. So,
Steve, is there still stuff on Market that you don't know about, maybe?
there are 9 gas services that need moved. As far as stuff that we have, I believe we're going to be close, but it should be clear.
They're not going to dig a hole and find something you don't know is there. Well, you don't know because you
They
wouldn't know.
they could find anything. So,
Will they move them, will they move those services with the contractor, or are they gonna do them separate, those gas?
No, they're gonna lower all of them, and the contractor comes in.
Oh, okay. Any questions for Steve?
No, but I did receive a compliment from one of the constituents this morning that you guys replaced a meter, and he said that the people that came in were very pleasant to deal with, and he just wanted to kind of pass it along to you guys, to let you know you're doing a great job.
Thank you, I'll pass it along to the staff.
Do you notice any I&I increase down to, with the snow event, or ice and snow event we just had?
Well, about the time it started melting, we also had a 2-inch rain, so it's hard to tell at this point which way it came from.
So you really can't tell?
Not in this one.
A large rain event would be easier to tell, or that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We did see increased flows with the 2.5-inch rain we got the other night.
Did the retention tank, I mean, it obviously, some went in there.
Yeah, we used the EQ basin last month. And it works fine, holds 450,000 gallons.
Anything else? Okay, thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
All right, minutes of February 14th. Oh, I'm sorry, committee reports. Anybody?
Well, the sign committee is going to have a meeting again Monday, so we're back on track, and I want to thank MoDOT finally getting that back over to us, and so we can start doing our job again.
Getting close to the end, maybe.
Oh, we hope so.
Anybody else? Okay.
I wasn't there.
Oh, okay. John, anything about 798, anything good?
No, just
No.
that we got some youth volunteers, videographers coming on board. Things around the
I worked with Tish on the contract. Did you discuss that at your meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
did she get back with you?
I hadn't heard from her today, or yesterday.
So we're still working on the contract wording.
Yeah.
We'll have it next time.
I was real impressed with the new system down there.
Okay.
It was nice.
really
out there.
nice.
I went and
Yeah.
saw it too last time, that's pretty neat.
Oh, we told you you were going to be impressed. You doubted us, didn't you?
No.
No.
Okay, now we'll go on to the minutes of February 14th.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And then the financial report for January,
Move approval.
Second.
any discussion?
Well, the only thing I can see is that the general sales tax, it looks like it keeps going down, and it's a good thing that the personal property and real estate came up to give us a little extra money there.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, and we also have the approval of the certificate of appropriateness for St. Genevieve Parish for the demolition of the football field house at number 1 Warrior Pass, which was a...
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I think that's supposed to happen Saturday, I believe. Old business, bill number 3904, second reading.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement between the city of St. Genevieve and St. Genevieve County to assist in the funding and cooperation of the St. Genevieve County Recycling Center.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Catch that? Okay, roll call?
Alderman Skaggs.
Yes.
Alderwoman Zerwig.
Yes.
Alderman Stupi.
Yes.
Alderman Jokers.
Yes.
Alderman Okenthus.
Yes.
Alderman Ross.
Yes.
Alderwoman Brumfield.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no's, 1 absent. Bill number 3904 becomes ordinance 3843.
Thank you. Bill number 3905, second reading.
An ordinance of the City of St. Genevieve, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission, wayfinding signing agreement.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Roll call.
Alderwoman Brumfield.
Yes.
Alderman Okenthus.
Yes.
Alderman Ross.
Yes.
Alderman Jokers.
Yes.
Alderwoman Zerwig.
Yes.
Alderman Skaggs.
Yes.
Alderman Stupi.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no's, 1 absent. Bill number 3905 now becomes ordinance 3844.
Thank you. Bill number 3906, second reading.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement between the City of St. Genevieve and St. Genevieve County regarding 911 dispatching services for the calendar year 2013.
Move approval.
Second.
And roll call.
Alderman Jokers.
Yes.
Alderman Stupi.
Yes.
Alderman Okenthus.
Yes.
Alderwoman Zerwig.
Yes.
Alderman Ross.
Yes.
Alderwoman Brumfield.
Yes.
Alderman Skaggs.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no's, 1 absent. Bill number 3906 now becomes ordinance 3845.
Okay, thank you. New business, first reading, bill number 3908.
An ordinance allowing the 2013 Show Me Green sales tax holiday to apply to the local sales taxes of the City of St. Genevieve, Missouri between April 19th and April 25th, 2013.
Motion approved. Second.
Discussion?
This is only for the city sales tax, right? It's not for county, it's just
We can't.
exempts the city.
It's just us, right?
County passes that too, though, they usually.
Yeah, we were one of the few, if I remember right, last year that the city and the county both did it, which was a good deal. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And I believe to get this in, we'd
Second
like to
reading?
have a second.
Move to second.
A second.
All in favor, second reading of 3908?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, second reading of bill number 3908.
An ordinance allowing the 2013 Show Me Green sales tax holiday to apply to the local sales taxes of the City of St. Genevieve, Missouri between April 19th and April 25th of 2013.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Alderman Okenthus.
Yes.
Alderman Skaggs.
Yes.
Alderwoman Brumfield. Alderwoman Zerwig.
Yes.
Alderman Stupi.
Yes.
Alderman Jokers.
Yes.
Alderman Ross.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no's, 1 absent. Bill number 3908 now becomes ordinance 3846.
Okay, thank you. Bill number 3909, first reading.
An ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a master equipment lease purchase for 2 patrol vehicles for the St. Genevieve Police Department.
Move approved.
Second.
This was a budgeted item. No questions. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Move
Okay.
for second reading.
Second.
All in favor, second reading of 3909?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, second reading of 3909.
An ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a master equipment lease purchase for 2 patrol vehicles for the St. Genevieve Police Department.
Motion to approve second reading.
Second.
Teddy. Okay, roll call.
Alderman Okenthus.
Yes.
Alderwoman Zerwig.
Yes.
Alderman Skaggs.
Yes.
Alderman Stupi.
Yes.
Alderman Jokers.
Yes.
Alderwoman Brumfield.
Yes.
Alderman Ross.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 no's, 1 absent. Bill number 909 now becomes ordinance 3847.
Okay, thank you. And lastly, bill number 3910.
An ordinance of the City of St. Genevieve, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement between the City of St. Genevieve and the St. Genevieve Municipal Band.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Just a point, I don't know that Stacy has gotten a hold of you for that because she has delegated that to one of the gentlemen on the board since she doesn't know anything about a trailer. She's not familiar with sizes and what they need, so one of them will be getting a hold of you about that.
Okay.
Did they find a new replacement?
I don't think they've done that yet. I don't know what she's talking about.
Okay, any public comments, anyone? Sure.
Yeah.
I'll watch myself, I'll fall down. For the record, my name is Carl Wayner. I live at 1158 Valley Spring Trail. Most of you know me and a lot of you don't. But I have three things I'd like to bring up, and I'll try to be brief on them. More or less questions. I read in the Herald last week a proposal about waste removal. I'm trying to lay a finger on what the problem is with the service we got. You got, I don't know what word, you got competition, so it keeps the prices down. Are you thinking about entering into agreement to just have one? Or are you going to run it yourself and then outsource it? Or what are you going to do? That's the question I'm asking.
I can try to answer maybe with your help, because I don't think we really know.
Yeah, let me answer the problem, express what I think the problem is, and then as far as what's going to be done, that hasn't been decided. But on any given day, you can stand on any given street and see these heavy dumpster solid waste trucks running down the street several times, and they do serious damage to the streets. So the question of can we control kind of the frequency and the number of trucks. So if you contract with one company and somebody else contracts with another company, and let's say they come on the same day, you'll have two trucks doing what one truck could have done relative to the load and damage that it does to the street surface. And how we accomplish that is going to be the subject of a work session, which I haven't announced yet, at 6 o'clock before our next meeting, so we can start deliberating about how we might achieve some control over the frequency, the weight, the size of the trucks, the kinds of things that would protect the public infrastructure. And you will, and I'd encourage you to attend that meeting.
I will, don't worry.
That meeting's March
But,
14th.
excuse me,
I'm sorry.
what my problem with this is one, is you talk about what the trucks do to the streets, might be the case. But what's the difference if you have two trucks running in with a light load or one truck with a heavy load? You still got the same thing. And we've been having a problem with our streets for a long time. And basically, I think it's got a lot to do with who's doing it, how they're doing it, and no testing on site, the proper amount of cement in it. You don't have a structure there that'll carry any loads. That's my thought. You can think about it whatever way you want. I lost my track of mine.
Is that price gonna be cheap?
Go ahead.
I was curious too about what you said about the price.
Well, let's say for the sake of argument, and this decision has not been made, that the city decides to franchise the service. And the competition would occur as the haulers submit their proposals to the city on a competitive basis, the major portion of which would be rates. But the franchise would also give you the opportunity to say, ensure that the equipment is in good condition, so you don't have leachate that's dripping out, or you could, whatever the critical factor is. And I have, there are a number of cities in Missouri that do that. Some operate their own, as you pointed out. Those are the kinds of things that I'll kind of present to you at the work session, and what the range of options are. And then you will get to decide how you want to handle it, if you indeed want to do that. And I've heard a lot from folks who have questions that need to be resolved at the board level.
The last time I ran through this was several years ago. And one trash hauler wanted to come in and take the whole 9 yards. All right. They was going to have a special truck that was going to separate the trash in it and this and that, and then haul it off. But it didn't work out that way. It would have never worked out that way because they never had anything done in the first place to do it. I have some relatives who was in a situation like this, and it never worked out. It was just problems. I do all kind of recycling. My trash barrel is either quarter full or a half full. And what I got in there, I got a place on the farm down there, I can bury it. I don't need trash hauling. So what are you going to do with the people who don't want to have trash hauling if they got a place to get rid of it? That's the problem we're going to have.
I think that's one of those things.
They wanted to, this outfit wanted to take a vacant lot and charge the people who had that lot trash hauling.
That's one of those issues that the board's going to have to discuss and decide how to do it. That's certainly one of the biggest issues. There's no question, and I'm sure a lot of members on the board have been asked that. So we're going to have to deal with that one. There's nothing to say that we've got to go that way to require everybody to do it. It's going to have to be a decision.
I'm going to try to stick to 5 minutes or less. I only got one thing. I won't talk about the other. Not yet. The hiking and biking trail that's proposed. Is that strictly a hiking and biking trail? Or is it going to be later on down the line added to it for scooters and golf carts?
The proposed trail will be 10 foot wide, either concrete or asphalt. But there won't be, other than vehicular traffic that would be too heavy to travel on it, it wouldn't support vehicular traffic. Now, whether the board wants to place additional limits on its use would be a good decision that they would make.
The original Progress Parkway was built for just to get from Highway M to the community center. But after they built it, then they added on a hiking and biking trail on both sides. Now, this is something I don't want to see done through the parish ground.
You don't feel like there's a need for kids to be able to get from this part of town to the community center walking or biking other than going out 32 or M?
Hiking and biking. The kids can ride a bicycle, can't they?
Uh-huh.
All right. If you're talking about scooters, if they're old enough to ride a scooter, they can go on M Road.
That's true.
So you really don't want anything motorized on the hiking and biking?
No, I don't want anything motorized. And the others I'll reserve for later. I thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Any other business?
We want to talk about the core. We have a number. We want to put that next meeting. I'll do it at the work session.
Okay, all right, we're gonna talk about, more about the core and the flood. We've had a little bit more correspondence back on that, but we'll talk about it at the work session instead of talking about it more tonight. Anything else?
Move to close.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay, thank you.